There's a poem I had while I was at university, and it has struck me even up to this day. It says, "At first I tried to change the world, and I failed. And I moved down and I tried to change my continent. In disgust, I failed again. I moved down, I tried to change my country. I then tried to change my city, my community. I failed dismally, and I tried to change my family, and I failed again. Then I got a spark of insight, and I realized that if at first I had tried to change myself, I would have gone and tried to change and gone to change my family. I would have gone and changed my community. I would have moved on to change my country, to change my continent, and to change my world. And I believe the reason Expert Talks is here is for insight. We're here for insight. We're here for inspiration. And I want to take this opportunity to welcome you all to this session of Expert Talks. The first speaker is a tourism ambassador. She is a radio presenter, visual artist, and a conservationist. She holds the titles of Miss Tourism Busoga for 2014-2015, Miss Tourism Uganda First Runner-Up for 2014-2015. She's the director of Green Approaches Limited. At 19 years old, she has a lot to boast about, and it is our pleasure to have this lady with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to welcome Roberta Jean-Marie Magoba.
This is great. I can't see you guys. Fantastic. Let's keep it that way. As I have been introduced, my name is Roberta Jean-Marie or Jean-Marie or whatever tongue you want to say it in, Luo, whatever way you want to take it. I am 19 years old, and I'll be very honest, this is my first public speaking platform, and I'm very excited, nervous, but excited. But I'm glad that we get a platform to share these different experiences. I may not have as much experience as many of you guys here, but I'm willing to learn from you, and you may learn from me something as well. I'd like to start with my topic. My topic is the journey. And that may be very vague to understand, but I think in a word, that would be my life. That would be an explanation of the kind of experiences I've had. And why I chose this topic is that, yes, I'm still young, but I may have goals, I may have dreams that I want to achieve. But at the end of the day, it's not about the destination that I want to get to. In a way, yeah, but it's about raveling in this experience, in this journey. You're going to fall. And I could sit here and tell you all these great things that people say, like nothing is impossible and, follow your dreams. But the truth of the matter is, things are going to be impossible. You're going to get beaten down. And that's great. Failure is a good thing. You may not have had that for many people. Failure is a great thing. Why? Because you're going to learn from these things. And you're going to have a bunch of awesome stories under your belt to tell people. Because, not every good story starts with, you guys, one time I was eating this salad and then, this great thing happened. So you're going to have to encounter a lot of interesting situations. My story is a very interesting one. I was never you could say, prime child of the family, the black sheep, you could say. Maybe some of you can relate to this, but there's always the smart kid in your house, the one your parents are like, why don't you be more like, I don't know, Bosco or something. I was always the second best at school. I was never good enough. If I failed, I just haven't failed the right way. Like, you could have failed this exam, but you didn't fail it the right way. I actually had comments like that at some point. So, in that way, I think that's where I drew most of my inspiration and most of my drive. Because you have to sort of prove to people that there's more than meets the eye. And this is how I started my art empire, as I like to call it. I started art at the age of 14, and it was in my art class where my art teacher told me I was not a good artist. I would never amount to anything. And today, I actually have, I like to call it my baby empire. I have a website coming up, online shopping. This is shameless marketing, forgive me. And there's a lot of things that I learned from this experience, in that everything that you think your mind tells you you can do is as far as you can go. So if I had listened to all the people that told me I was second best, or I would never be as good as this person, it would all be in my mind and I would stretch as far as that. Anytime I achieve something to the average standard, I would be okay with that, because that's how my mind has been trained to operate. So you need to ask yourself this question when you say get out of bed, that if I have this thing that I really love and no one can stop me, or I have this job that I've been chasing, or I want to be the best wheelbarrow pusher in the whole world, who is really going to stop me? And I can tell you right now, the only answer to that question is yourself. You are the only person that can stop yourself from achieving everything you've ever wanted to achieve. If you want to be the president, that's great, but it's all in your mind. So at the point that you train your mind to believe that you are more than people make you out to be, you will actually become this person. And another thing that I learned from building my tiny empire is that it's slow and steady, guys. It's slow and steady. You never really just get there. You're going to, get to a point where you want to give up. I was actually talking to a couple of people earlier. You may get to a point that you want to give up and everything is not going your way. But one thing you should remember is sometimes what you want may not be what you need. I'll just say that again. What you want may not be exactly what you need at that point in time. And I think at the moment that you realize this concept, you will start working with the situations that you have. Because you always have it at the back of your head. It may not be what I want right now, but in that way you become innovative to work with what you have and eventually arrive to what you need. It may be a little difficult to process right now, but I hope it's resonating with some of the stuff you're going on with right now. It's something that you should always carry on throughout your journeys, your respective journeys. And something you should always remember is it will not be a journey if you do not make some friends or enemies along the way. And I think enemies is a good thing, because it means you're doing something right. You're definitely doing something right if you're making some enemies, because no one is going to be ecstatic about you achieving all the things that you've wanted to achieve. So just keep doing you on your own respective journey. Just keep doing you and making discoveries about yourself. But one of the things that I urge all of you to remember is to always have some sort of positive impact on your society or your community. And it's something that I've always set out to do on every single project that I embark on. And this is one of the reasons I started Green Approaches with a bunch of other passionate people as well. I'm a director of that company. And what I have managed to do in my position in this company is to incorporate all my various skills and all the things that I enjoy into what someone would term as a 9-to-5 desk job, or just your basic, average, I'm going to go to work, wear a suit. But I told myself that I will not be that person. And I have managed to incorporate my art into my position, in that I have found a way to make social change using my art and green approaches. And one of the projects I'd like to share with you is a mural that I and another company painted. I don't know if you know this location. It's in Chambogo. There's a dumping site right behind Chambogo University. And we went ahead and we visited this dumping site, and obviously there's tons of rubbish, but it was not in a manner that was acceptable for the community that was staying there. Yes, people should not be living around dumping sites, but sadly, that's the society that we live in. That's the community that we're living in. And we shared their stories, and we got to know that these people are actually not comfortable with their situation, and they would like it if You know how they say government to yambe, all these things. And we told them, you know what, you could always make the best out of this situation. We went ahead and taught them how to recycle, how to sort through this rubbish, and to this day, most of these members of this community sort through this rubbish, which is a great thing for the whole country. They sort through this rubbish, get the recyclable materials, and find ways to reuse them into making baths for their kids. They use them to make showers for themselves. They've found a way to use these materials in a great way, in the way we're not polluting the environment. And we added one more thing before we left that location. We painted this mural on the large expanse of the wall, and it's spreaded messages of recycling for future generations, stuff like that. And it's always a reminder to anyone who passes there or the community that this is something that happened, this is something that's going to keep happening, and it's something that they're going to teach their children and their children and their children. And in a way, we also uplifted the image of the site as well. If you visit it, I'd like to urge you guys to visit that place. It's not the average drab-looking dumping site. So I think in that way, I managed to incorporate all the things that I love to do in a project that impacted many people. And at the end of the day, you get to see a smile on someone's face. It's not always about the money. Well, sometimes it is, but to be honest. But you know what? It's always good to have some sort of change on your community. Another thing that we went on to do was to promote conservation in terms of reducing deforestation and promoting safe charcoal burning. We can't help it. We're going to cut down trees, but we found a way to get people to have safe charcoal burning and all that stuff. So it's always a good thing to remember in everything that you do. There's always a way for you to make someone else's life so much easier than being selfish about everything else. And the last thing, or the second last thing, guys, have fun. You should always have fun. I think, or it's in my opinion, that you should not always do conventional things. If you're a lawyer, that's great. If you're a teacher, that's great. But it's always in my intent in everything I do to not do conventional things, which is why I have ended up juggling all these different unconventional careers at the same time. I've been told it's not possible, but it's possible. So have fun with everything that you do. If you are doing what you love, you will definitely have fun. If you hate your job, try to have fun doing it. Bend the rules a little bit. That's allowed. Don't break them. And you don't always have to do things by the book. Sometimes the greatest ideas come when you bend the rules a little bit. So that's another thing you guys should always have in mind. And once you find that thing that makes your heart palpitate and you love what you're doing, you should always find a way to get paid doing it. You're going to get tons of money and you're going to have a great time. That's always a plus. So basically, in conclusion, I told you this would be short. In conclusion, I believe that life is this big journey that we have no idea where it's going. I could end up not doing any of these things in 10 to 20 years. I don't know this. But the most important thing is to embrace the falls that we may have, the failures that we may have, the successes that we may have. It's to share with each other experiences. And one of the lessons that I do take away so far from what I've learned is that I should have embraced, you could say, my flaws or things that weren't right about me so much earlier on in my life, because in that way you're more true to who you are. It's easier for you to follow something that you love if you're not always basing it on what this person will think, what will my parents think, what will my friends think, what will my boss think. So I think that's one of the things I would have done differently, you could say. So yeah, told you this would be short. Thank you guys for listening. It's okay not to clap. You can clap. You can go ahead to clap.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jean-Marie.
You're welcome.
A louder hand clap, please, for the lady.